Hello and welcome to Dateline Lagos on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Coming up on the program, Lagos State celebrates 2023 Eid-el-Kabir with Muslim faithful, state government sensitizes students on drug abuse, and Lagos State holds pre-retirement documentation seminar for civil servants. The Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Quadri Hamzat, has asked residents of the state to support the new administration at both the federal and state levels in order to experience speedy economic growth in the country. The Deputy Governor made this comment at the 2023 Eid-el-Kabir celebration held at Lagos House Alausa in Ikeja. Take a look.
Wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, welcomes special guests for the 2023 Eid-el-Kabir celebration at the Lagos House Alausa Ikeja Sport Ground. Hosting Muslim faithful has become an annual tradition organized by the First Family of Lagos State. The Deputy Governor of Lagos, Quadri Hamzat, and his wife, Oluremi Hamzat, joined the gathering for the occasion. Wife of the governor used the opportunity to call for peaceful coexistence.
I acknowledge and commend our religious leaders, captains of industry, community association, professional bodies, political groups, and indeed the people generally for honoring the invitation to join us as we celebrate this unique and outstanding season that exemplifies the virtues of faith, sacrifice, love, unity, and total obedience to the commands of the Almighty Allah. Peace be unto him. The Eid-el-Kabir festival is held in commemoration of the father of faith, Prophet Ibrahim, and his family's devotional to obeying Allah's command. The celebration also indicates the completion of Arafat rites by Muslim pilgrims in Kaaba, in Makkah, thus signifying the perfection of Islam. In line with our annual tradition in Lagos State of hosting the Muslims, Ummah, dignitaries, and the people generally, we are gathered here today to celebrate this year's Eid-el-Kabir festival and to specially acknowledge Allah's benevolence upon the people of our dear state. The theme is particularly instructive as it places emphasis on the fact that one cannot become a leader without being faithful, available, and teachable, which I like to refer to as FAT, F-A-T. The FAT principle, faithful, available, teachable. As we bask in the euphoria of this celebration, let us be reminded of the obligations of us to be fat in the Lord, and also pass this on to our children, so much so that they are made to know and appreciate the need to equally be faithful to Allah's command. We all will be rewarded based on our deeds, either good or bad. This should therefore serve as a consistent reminder to be above board in terms of our relationship with Allah and also embrace peace, unity, and honesty as we interface with people out there. Let us also continue to remember our leaders and their country in our prayers and be faithful to our civic obligations.
Religious leaders present asked the people to be law-abiding and support government policies.
My message to the Muslims in Lagos is the essence of this celebration is service to God and service to humanity. And it is important for us to note that we need to be sincere with our services to Allah and the humanity. Secondly, to our nation, which we need to be sincere. That is, we need to be law-abiding, and that's the focus of the lecture today. We need to be sincere, we need to be law-abiding as citizens. And we need to be passionate about our nation, because there is no place like home. Our nation, Nigeria, is our nation, is our country. So we need to pray for our leaders. We ourselves, we have responsibility and duties to our nation. The duties is that we need to be committed, we need to be dedicated, and we need to be prayerful for us to have a prosperous country and for us to have a successful life.
In our nation today, we have every reason to give glory to God. That the last 1 month that we have a new government in place, things have started to change for the good. And by the special grace of God, it's going to improve on that. And God will continue to be with us in our world. And we will also plead that every country where we have crisis, that they should reconcile. They should resolve to live in peace. Because it's only when we live in peace, in harmony, that we can think of progress. But for Nigeria, it's a renewed hope. It's a message of joy. And it's a message of celebration. And luckily for us, we are moving towards the second half of the year 2023. And God, who stood by us throughout the first half, will be with us in the remaining half of this year. And we are going to end in praise. We are going to end in joy. And it's going to be well with our presidents. It's going to be well with Nigeria. It's going to be well with our governors. And it's going to be well with all of us.
The Deputy Governor also seeks support for the new administration.
I think the essence is basically we should all follow the tenets of God. That is, we shouldn't take things for granted, and that we should pray to Him for everything. We should pray for our leaders. We should also pray for ourselves, because when the leaders get it wrong, then all of us will suffer. So He enjoined us to keep praying for our country, to keep praying for our leaders, so that when they do right, the citizens will also benefit. So I think that's one of the lessons of today. The other one is sacrifice. He told us about the prophet Ibrahim, which is Abraham, trying to sacrifice his son Ishmael, and that it is because they believe in God. So we should also sacrifice for our family, for our country, so that we can all benefit for a better country.
The message of peace and harmony has been echoed at this event, and the Lagos State government says that spirit of unity, devoid of ethnic barrier, must be replicated in the people's daily lives.
Away from Eid-el-Kabir celebrations to the campaign against drug abuse. This time, the Lagos State government has warned teenagers, especially students, against the negative peer pressure that could lead them to indulging in drug and substance abuse.
On a weekly basis, a number of people are being arrested over drug-related cases by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and other security agents.
I don't think there's any good advantage in taking drugs. I don't think there's any. Because when you take something and that thing makes you to misbehave, when you take something, it makes you to go and kill, and by the time you finish killing, you start regretting that you have done it. Is that a good advantage? I don't think so.
Data from the NDLEA in the last 15 months show that the agency has intercepted over 1.2 million kilograms of illicit drugs of different kinds.
275 million people.
This growing figure has prompted the Lagos State government to visit public schools and educate students on the dangers. The event, organized by the State Interministerial Drug Abuse Control Committee at the Agedingbe Senior and Junior Secondary School Ikeja, is to encourage students not to be influenced by their peers.
So when you talk of drug abuse, is a disorder of the brain. So we should see them as being ill. The way you treat any other patient, that is the way they should be treated. But for the suppliers, the distributors, they should be treated as criminals. But the addicts should be treated as patients. Treating them as criminals or stigmatizing them, discriminating against them, will further push them into more addiction, and we know what that could lead to. It could lead to even eventually their death. So we should find a way of bringing them back to be useful members of the society. And for parents, we are saying, if you have a child that is addicted, no amount of shouting, no amount of threats can stop them. That is still further going to make it worse. We are further pushing them out there pushing them out. So we should show them love, speak with them, quiet time, peacefully, quietly, and not with a lot of shout. That will not do anything. Most times they are hardened, so no amount of shout can work on them. Then when you want to take them to a psychiatric hospital, you need to let them know. The minute we heard she's going to Yaba left, what we think is we think of something worse. As any part of the body can be diseased, you can have a problem with your kidney, with your eyes. Equally, the brain can have a disorder. Then strengthen prevention. That is why we are here today. How do we stop them from starting? How do we stop them from wanting to experiment? How do we give them education out of ignorance? How do we stop them from yielding to peer pressure and getting hooked on drugs? And for the ones that are already experimenting with drugs, at this stage of their lives, how do we stop them? Presently, we are in the senior high school, academic senior high school. We are just finished from the junior high school. We are at the senior high school now. We can't rule it out that one or two of them are already experimenting. So what we want to do is at this stage, educate them, counsel them, sensitize them on the dangers inherent in drug abuse, so that they won't go further. And the ones that are not yet hooked on, that have not experimented yet, we want to find a way of stopping them. It's a no-go area. They should not even make attempts, because once they stop, at inception you might think you can control it, but at a stage it gets out of control, and it becomes, you can't control it any longer, and you keep asking for more and more at increased doses. That is why we are here today to sensitize the students on the dangers inherent in drug abuse.
Drug abuse is more harmful to children because they are still developing and must be prevented from engaging in such acts with all necessary support from parents and guardians.
It's not enough to say no to drugs. They need to be equipped with the right skills. And what are the skills that we have given them today? We have given them decision-making skills, assertiveness skills, and refusal skills. Because it is not enough to say no. How they say that no is actually important. Also today, they learned a lot about their brain being under construction, that the brain of young people is still developing. And any attempt to introduce any psychoactive substance to that developing brain, we actually mess it up. And the last place to develop is the place of judgment, this place of executive functions, memory, learning, decision-making, ability to weigh long-term consequences. And any attempt to introduce any psychoactive substance to this developing brain, we actually affect them, and it can also lead to dependency. That is, the earlier they start using substances, the more they get into it, and they may not be able to come out easily like that. So we are here to prevent them from the use of substances, which is very important, because prevention is better and prevention is cheaper. So that is why we are here. Also today we have been able to share some facts with them, that the fact that a drug is legal doesn't mean that it's not harmful. That a drug is being advertised, like being glamorous, being cool, doesn't mean they should take it. So these are some of the facts that we have even shared with them today, and that they should try as much as possible to avoid negative peer pressure and learn how to make right choices.
The students are grateful for the knowledge gained.
I've been able to learn a lot of things from what the facilitators for today have been able to teach us. Firstly, I've been able to learn that when we say no, we take to our stance by saying no, and we don't give any contrary opinion after saying no. And I've learned that drug abuse is one of the major effects of low economy growth in Nigeria. And with that, I've been able to learn how to stop drug abuse, by in which we'll be able to enlighten our colleague, enlighten our mates, enlighten people around us on the effects and consequences of drug abuse.
The first thing I learned is about drug abuse. Drug abuse is the excess or the misuse of drug without the doctor's prescription. Another thing I learned is that whenever we say no, we take to our word, and whatever we say, we do it.
The fight against drug and substance abuse is a collective responsibility that must be taken seriously by government, private sector and parents in order to curb the menace in Lagos State and the country at large.
Dear Lagosians, the deadly coronavirus pandemic is easily transmitted and deadlier. Coronavirus symptoms are fever, dry cough, tiredness, difficulty in breathing. We can all prevent the spread of this virus through appropriate and regular use of face masks, avoiding close contact with people who are at high risk, washing our hands regularly with soap and running water, especially after visiting the toilet, before eating and after coughing or sneezing, using alcohol-based hand sanitizer, maintaining at least 1.5 meters or 5 feet distance from anyone coughing or sneezing, covering our mouths with tissue while coughing or sneezing and brushing the tissue. If you feel unwell and show symptoms of coronavirus, or you notice anyone who does, please call the Lagos State Emergency Hotlines 08000 ECOMED or 0803 3356 5529. Many are dead. Don't fall victim or die in ignorance. Report now. Together, we will overcome this challenge. Igbega Ipinle Eko, Ajumoshini, Lagos State Government. Announcer.
And finally on the program, the Lagos State Government has engaged pre-retirees on how to obtain their retirement benefits when they are eventually out of service.
It all began with verification exercise of the Lagos State employees who are due to retire from the state public service between July and December 2023. They celebrate their years of service so far, even as they look forward to life after retirement. The 24th Retirement Benefit Documentation Seminar, organized by the State Pension Commissions, is to prepare the soon-to-be retirees on how to access their pension contributions.
With the same attention you dedicated to your career progression in the public service, your retirement journey must be navigated with appropriate knowledge, skills, and abilities for optimal fulfillment. Today's program is extremely important, as your preparation for retirement will determine your satisfaction with your retirement lifestyle. LASPEC has organized this event to educate you on the necessary documentation required to promptly access your accrued rights and or pension contributions after retirement. The program will provide valuable information on managing your personal finances in retirement, knowledge of investment, estate planning, and relevant tips to promote healthy living, while will also be discussed so we can fully enjoy our pension entitlements. Be wary of fraudsters and seek advice from competent and reliable sources. Please do not hesitate to contact LASPEC if you require clarifications or active advice regarding the modalities surrounding your retirement benefits.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Establishment, Training and Pensions, believes it's important to give guidance on life after years of service, especially how to utilize retirement savings.
We are putting something in place that your documentation must be complete 6 months before your retirement. So what we are trying to do now is that we will start calling people, checking your files to ensure that your documents are complete. Because we discovered that a lot of people don't even have file in a stack. And they want to retire. And after they retire, they tell you that government is not paying them their gratuity, their entitlements. Because if your documentation is not complete, there's no way your entitlements can be processed. And that is why I'm very happy that we are having this seminar today. And please, it is very, very important that we listen and hear them out and ensure that we follow the steps that are being laid for our own sake. So when we retire happily. Very, very important. I've seen a lot of people complaining to me, coming to me, we are not getting our benefits. I've seen a lot of letters, everything. But sometimes it is our own fault. Sometimes. I'm not saying every time, but sometimes it's our own fault because we didn't do what we're supposed to do at the right time.
Other officials give key information on the processes involved and steps that should be taken out of service.
Currently, there are 16 approved PFAs, and any new employee is expected to sign up with only one of the PFAs. After which monthly deduction of 8% from you, the employee. Currently, 80% is taken from you, the employee, and your employer, that's the Lagos State government, adds 10%. So total making 18% is being remitted into your RSA on a monthly basis. I'm sure many of us, we don't even trace those things. Whether they credit us or not, we don't even know. it is time to know. Upon retirement from the state service, the total sum of 1, value of the bond, that is accrued rights. 2, pension contributions in the RSA. 3, return on investment. We form the total retirement benefit due to the retired officer. There are 3 components mentioned there. Are we following? And we say, upon retirement, you will see those 3 components in your RSA, and that will form the total, benefits available to you for the number of years you have worked. But now, we are not yet retired. Are we retired? We are only about to retire. So by the time you're retired and you process your pension, and the last component is being paid into your RSA, which is the accrued right, then the 3 components becomes your benefits for the number of years you have worked. For those of us who are retiring from the mainstream, please, I want to beg you, one thing that will delay your retirement benefit if you are in the mainstream is a staff number. It's a staff number. If you don't know your staff number, or when you are filling the last spec form, you did not put your staff number there, there is no way we can get your staff file from Ministry of Staff and Training. So please, if possible, write it on each of your documents if possible. Your staff number is very, very important.
First, evaluate your spending habits. Evaluate how you spend. Is it worthwhile? Is it commensurate with your earnings? Adjust and readjust your budgets. Avoid impulsive spending. Buy what you need and not what you want. Buy food items in bulk. You can collaborate with your neighbors and buy food items in bulk. Invest your money. Also invest in yourself. It is very, very important that you invest in yourself. Take care of your health. Try to have multiple sources of income. Then evaluate your decisions at every point in time. Your financial decisions, try to evaluate them. Am I doing well or not? Do not obtain any kind of loan against your receivable lump sum. It is very, very important. Begin to wind down on any loan obligation at this time. Before deciding on any kind of business to go into, buy a financial instrument to avoid leaving your money idle. Where should you invest? Diversify your portfolio if you are an investor in stocks, bond, and real estate. You can buy treasury bills. You can do time deposits with banks. Go for dollar. Fly to safety. Then sell off and keep your cash. Investment tips. Next slide. Okay. Some of the businesses that we can engage in are for our teachers. You can go into students or summer coaching classes. You can do that in your little house and all that. You can go into farming, cattle, snail, and crop. You can do small-scale manufacturing, soap, textiles, and all those small things. I'm sure these things we've learned them by one way or the other in doing our working career. Car wash for our men, you can do that just by the side of your house. Restaurants or catering services, our mothers that like cooking and all those things, you can do that on a small scale. Petty trading, then writing articles for publication in newspapers and journals. Those are ones that are very, very educative, that like information and all that.
It's a yearly ritual by the state government to its workers to ensure they are not plunged in at the deep end when they eventually leave service. And this preparatory event gives them a future to look forward to.
That's the program for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Until next time, remember to please stay safe. Bye for now.